doing a deeper dive into what types of enterprises and what the enterprise landscape is that we're talking about. Because we understand that we all come to this from experience with different sized enterprises, some very, very small, informal women's networks, to more advanced enterprises with the possibility of regular sales, and kind of well-established processes, to some enterprises that may be frustrated by their lack of ability to access formal financial networks, and so how to kind of reach that level. And so, the pipeline, I think the ecosystem approach recognizes this diversity of enterprises, and we seek to address and prioritize the need to build a pipeline of women-led enterprises with good market potential, while supporting investment-ready enterprises through facilities such as EDP, and also identifying support for enterprises that we call post-investment enterprises that have established a strong credit history, perhaps under like an EDP program, but still lack the contacts and the networks to access the formal financial sector. As we saw yesterday in Felipe's presentation, it's incredibly difficult, much, much more difficult than probably it seems on paper. So that's a form of technical assistance and capacity building that's necessary in and of itself. What I was going to do was say, this arrow represents, imagine an arrow that represents the enterprise landscape. And I'll give some examples. So the first stage, at the very smallest stage, we call the pre-investment stage. So just to be illustrative, I'll give some examples for each one of the stages that we see sort of along this continuum. The pre-investment stage, you could imagine a woman's savings group that aspires to grow mushrooms for sale, but lacks knowledge about market channels and basic accounting skills. At the pre-investment stage, you could imagine a small but growing, yay! Isn't that a beautiful arrow? So here we have the pre-investment stage, yeah? Then the pre-investment stage. Yes, indeed. You can imagine a small but growing woman-run store that aspires, that sees opportunities to eliminate market inefficiencies by investing in their own truck for transportation of products back and forth to market, but lacks access to pre-investment financing. At the investment-ready stage, we imagine perhaps an alliance of 4 seed-growing cooperatives that collectively seek to invest in some form of processing equipment that will allow them to access higher value markets. In the post-investment stage, you can imagine a milk cooperative selling into a national dairy company that would like to expand and diversify its production through financing from the formal financial sector. The activities sought by these enterprises will differ based on their respective stage of development. And that's what this ecosystem tries to develop. It tries to recognize and be very realistic about the stage of development for the individual enterprise, and then understand what supports are demanded at each stage, or most relevant at each stage. So again, to go back to my hypothetical examples, some of which aren't so hypothetical, if you think about the women's savings group interested in selling mushrooms, they might demand a workshop from Norman, identifying and assessing market opportunities, and assessing also the gender sort of availability of that market, as well as training in basic accounting. If you go to the women-run store, there's something wrong with that. The women-run store, no, that's right, may require a gender-based intervention to bolster support for their initiative within the community or with individual households, while seeking pre-competitive investment in fixed assets to enable the growth of their business. The Alliance of Seed Producers, I imagine, as an established and an investment-ready enterprise. Their aspirations to collectively invest in a processing facility for food oil could be supported by a loan guarantee from a program such as EDP, coupled with technical assistance on the maintenance of the equipment and business coaching on creating market linkages in this new product line, as well as prudent risk management. Finally, at the post-investment stage, the needs are going to be quite different. They may have gone through, as I mentioned, the EDP process successfully and now be getting ready to exit. But they may lack the relationships, as we were saying today, the nodes, the connections within the ecosystem in order to pursue financing through the formal financial sector. So what are the processes? What is the capacity building that could help them make those linkages, as well as help the managers think about their long-term business and financial strategy? So those are some of the examples of some of the activities being contemplated and supports being contemplated.